Most new exercises that people come up with are oftentimes no better, and in many cases demonstrably worse than many classic proven exercises. And I'm not saying we shouldn't look at new exercises and say, hey, this makes a lot of sense. This is a good thing, such as, the reverse hyper. Now granted, that's not that new at this point. It's decades old, but it's definitely not a classic lift. But I think the problem here is when you have influencers and people online who are either trying to sell equipment or they're trying to sell complexity. They try to give people exercises they don't need. Again, building lats. Lats, you see me doing weighted chin-ups right here. Lats are really not that difficult to build. Get really strong at weighted chin-ups, weighted pull-ups. You will have lats, I promise you. Hey, the chin-ups can help with your biceps. Barbell curls are great for biceps. If that's not enough, you might want to look into something like a preacher curl or an incline curl. But those are all basic time-proven exercises. And when people hear that, I don't even mean they've only been in common use 20, 30 years. I'm talking everything I just listed is extremely old school. You literally go back to the 50s, and incline curls were one of the favorite curls of some of the top bodybuilders. I mean, we're getting old school there. 70 years ago. So people see all these different things. They're like, no, you need to have this. You need to have this cable or this cable attachment. My God. You got to have this machine to build big lats or complete back development. Does anyone understand how ludicrous that is? And it's going to get even more ludicrous if some of this current research that I'm not necessarily buying into turns out true. The most effective stuff is going to be even a lower variation than what we have now. Some of the stuff on these lengthened partials and things, meaning is any exercise that puts you into a lengthened position probably causes the best hypertrophy. Oh man, that's going to throw out a lot of this nonsense. If that's actually the case. I am not fully buying into it. But there's probably a degree of truth to it. But no, really, everyone acts like they need all these fancy special movements, and this is what's holding them back. Because I didn't do hip thrusts, which is really a newer exercise, I don't consider that a classic or basic exercise. I'm not saying I don't program it for clients occasionally. It's a supplemental lift, right? Hip thrusts and glute bridges are a supplemental lift for your glutes. However, if we were to really look at the data closely, I don't know that they're that particularly great. Hypertrophy studies haven't been kind to them. And again, if any of this lengthened position stuff turns out to be true, then they would be technically not good exercises at all because they're really contracted position movements. Now, I think those things can have their place. But at the end of the day, the research has shown, and the real world has generally shown, that just learning to squat correctly, doing deep squats will build your glutes with just a barbell. Right? Deep leg presses will do it. Both will also build your quads, they'll build your adductors. And again, I'm not saying other things don't have their place, but most people are not dedicating their entire life to the gym to where they're trying to find 37 different angles to become a professional bodybuilder. If you're just trying to look really good, be really jacked, really strong, really athletic, you probably don't need to be looking into any of the extra stuff. Again, back squats, front squats, maybe some split squats, leg presses will build all the leg you need, all the glute you need. Any sort of hip hinge, you can build hamstrings. Deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts. And I do like things like leg curls and glute ham raise devices, mainly because of the other angles they hit. But are they really necessary? That's subject to debate. That's a whole nother debate as far as if we actually need that action or not, and how important it is for sport specificity or anything else. Okay. But the same thing, people are like, oh, we have this new chest machine, a new chest exercise. Try doing them this way. Because barbells and dumbbells haven't produced Mr. Olympia chests for generations. What? because you haven't learned to perform them correctly. But I mean, I see this stuff. People will come up, try this new thing. Try, bench pressing with the dumbbells pressed together in the middle. And it's like, what are you even trying to do? What are you trying to achieve? I mean, in a lot of ways, that's just similar to a closed grip bench. Just get a barbell and closed grip bench if that's what you're trying to do. Now, you're not getting a good stretch on your chest, I can promise you that. You're just chasing a contraction at the top, but a closed grip does that pretty well. Do you even need that? A lot of times what guys are thinking of, they need a contraction for whatever part of their chest. They probably just need more upper chest. Maybe some incline work would fix that. Probably a much better solution. Again, depending upon what you're doing. But yeah, the whole hip thrusting. Then the booty band thing. All this nonsense, all these devices. And you see all these devices being sold that literally bring nothing to the table. People say, well, I feel my glutes when I use the booty band. No, you don't. And that upsets people when you tell them you're not actually feeling your glute. What you think you're feeling when you put the booty band on is not your glute. There's no biomechanical ability of the booty band to make your glutes contract. It cannot do it by adding it to something. It adds literally nothing there. What you are feeling is your hip flexors. Right? That's what you're feeling. You're probably feeling your abductors. They're right by the edge of the glute. Keep that in mind. You're feeling your abductors and you think you're feeling your glutes. It's all nonsense. Same thing, people start adding, if you do this differently with the cable pressed down, it will work the triceps better. Then you look at what they're doing, it's like, objectively speaking, no, it won't. It's actually worse. But that's okay. It gives people gimmicks. And everyone buys it. And what I'm telling people is you only need the basics. And again, basics can include isolation movements. I just listed multiple types of curls. I love laterals. I think laterals are fantastic, whether done with a barbell. Well, you can't do them with a barbell. It's balance. Dumbbells, cables, plates. I think lateral raises are fantastic. But that's a basic, time-proven, decades-old exercise. And again, I'm not against new stuff being found, but the new stuff that people think they find literally doesn't bring anything to the table. And they're just wasting your time. They're just confusing training. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.